Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Lucia helping us out as we get you ready for a preview of a nice stakes race on Saturday out at Laurel Park. This one's going to go as race number 7. It's the Dave's Friend, $100,000 up for grabs. Mike, you and I were kind of talking before we started recording. Just a tough race to have a top selection in here. I do think Prince of Jericho will take some money, but there's a couple horses who I wouldn't be shocked if Maximus Meridius gets bet a little bit. Horse like Subrogate has like some big numbers in there. Wouldn't shock me if that horse gets played a little. Like there's a lot of ways I could see money going. I could see people putting their top selections. So an interesting race to handicap.
Really wasn't an easy race for me to get through. I mean, it just feels like every horse that you go to one after the other, you can make a case for them to be sure. And it's also then you start sort of putting the whole race together, and it just feels like there's tons of speed in this race too. So you might get a really competitive pace. There's a lot to take apart. This is a tough race.
We'll look at that pace, and we'll see how Timeform US projects it to be a fast pace, and that does not shock because you have Twisted Ride who wants to go. You have Maximus Meridius who wants to go. You have Prince of Jericho who wants to go. Dean Delivers to the outside. I don't know if he wants to get hooked wide. He probably wants to sit as close as possible. A couple others like Showstopper Copper, even Uncle Cat, they've shown speed, and they've been able to sit really close. Like there's versions of this race where they're flying early.
Just seems like a competitive pace is inevitable in this race. There's too much speed in here. I don't see a bunch of horses backing off.
Let's meet the field for the Dave's Friend. Really good card on Saturday at Laurel Park. We previewed the 6th race as well. If you need a little help with that one, check the Daily Racing Form YouTube. Let's talk about Subrogate from the inside. This horse was in the Vanderbilt, the grade 1 Vanderbilt, and it was only 3-1 in that race, Mike, back in 2024. And that was coming off a 6-length victory. So this horse was in good form then. Now you look at the races this year. There are 3 starts. You have a victory at Laurel Park earlier. But the most recent effort I thought was a little bit flat. What are you going to do? And please scold me for calling you Mark.
That's all right. You can call me whatever you like, Gino. It doesn't matter to me. This is maybe the toughest call in the race for me. I don't know. I know that his good race gives him a chance. And he's not, I wouldn't call him a closer, but he doesn't need to be on the lead. So I guess that's a little bit of a feather in his cap too. I did not like his most recent start there. And I'm also just bothered by the fact that even though he's missed some time, he's come back now for 3 starts this year as a 5-year-old. He still refuses to change leads in the stretch of his race. He didn't do it in the Francis 2-back, but he was able to wear that field down. I don't know. He could win. I'm going to wait and see what kind of price he is because I would never take a short price on him.
Yeah, he's a horse that the rail concerns me a little bit for him too. It could like push him farther back than he wants, and he'll have to be a little bit late onto the scene. We move to Petingas Twin. We have a replay of the most recent effort. This was a really good win, Mike. And when you look at Petingas Twin, you have some huge victories. This horse wins by 5 lengths, 9 lengths, and 10 lengths throughout his career. So on his good days, when he shows up and he gets good trips, he wins just like this. I'm a little bit curious about, how good the field that he beats. I do like Sunny Breeze, who was behind him. He got a perfect trip in this race, though. Petingas Twin 6-1 on the morning line. What do you think about him in here?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a race or two, I think, that gives him a chance. But your point that you were making there, where his wins are kind of blowout wins, that always bothers me with horses. It feels like then when everything goes right for them, they'll show up and run a great race.
Like a bully, right?
Yeah, they're just not quite as good. They've run him in a few stakes races along the way too. He hasn't been close in any of those, and because he's got the big figure and the big win showing last time, he probably takes a little money in here too. And he's another horse I just would never take. He's 6-1 line. I would not take that price.
I agree. He was not in the mix for me. We move to Twisted Ride, who is grade 1 placed as a multiple stakes winner. In his most recent win, it was at Parks on October the 29th. We have a replay of that. He pushed through from the inside to lead. He was pressed throughout. He actually got headed right about here going into the top of the stretch, and then he battles back and he wins this thing. This was over at Parks. He is a 10-time winner, and he has run at Laurel where he's finished second all 3 times. What do you think about his chances in here?
It's a good win for him right here that we're looking at. His overall form, recently in particular, is pretty good. He's got races on the go back that obviously give him a real chance in here. Remember him, hitting the board in the grade 1 at Saratoga last summer at a huge price with a triple-digit buyer. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I found he's one of the horses in here, Gino. One of the reasons that this race is I found this race to be so challenging is because I know that he can win and I know that he's in good form. And yet I couldn't really find anything to hold on to with this horse to talk myself into picking him on top.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a good amount of other speed in here too, and
Yeah.
that's usually where he wants to be. So he may have it tough up front early in this race. We get to Uncle Cat, who tried turf last time out. His most recent win was at Timonium. Feels like he's in a little bit tough. He's light on speed figures.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could put this horse in the winner's circle. There are a bunch of horses I didn't know what to do with. I knew what to do with this horse. That's not using.
Showstopper Copper comes off a pretty good third. If you look at the horse who he was behind that day, St. Jude is 4 for 8, has won 3 of the last 4 with 92 and 95 buyers in those last couple. Showstopper Copper had a good start, was third, was just behind the leaders, got some room inside and moved up to challenge. Couldn't hold off 2 of the closers who came and got this one late. How do you think about his chances in here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to say he was involved and the horses, the winner came from last to first to win that last race. And so maybe, he was an unlucky loser last time. And he did jump up to a figure that's supposed to make him tough in here. I know that the dynamics maybe were against him last time, Gino. I still don't like that loss for him. I still think that he lost that race without excuse. And the 94 buyer is great. I want to see him do it again.
We move to Maximus Meridius. He's the horse that kind of made this race difficult for me because he's a multiple stakes winner. Late 2024, early 2025, he'd be so tough in a spot like this. But we're now looking at about 4 or 5 races in a row where he hasn't been at his best. Even when he's won and run second, he's been fine. He's been okay. But this is probably a softer spot than in some of those other races too. I went back and forth. I think I end up picking him on the back end of my top 4 selections in here. Mike, what do you do with Maximus Meridius?
Yeah, I sort of look at him the same way you did. I mean, I can't say that I love his most recent starts, but this is pretty clearly class relief for this horse. He's a rock solid fit in here. He's a really good horse. He has speed, but I feel like if he doesn't make the lead, that's probably okay with him. I don't know, man. To me, he was one of the easier horses to make a case for in here. It's your call, I guess, what kind of price you want to take on him. I think 4 to 1 would be a great price. I'm not sure you're going to get it.
Sunny Breeze is next up. He's going to go second start off the short break. Of course, is proven at Laurel. He's pretty lightly raced. You look at that Gallant Bob now and how good that looks, where he's a really close second to Ben Tornado right before Ben Tornado goes and runs second in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and then he wins the Breeders' Cup Sprint this year. It almost looked like that race may have taken a little something out of him because you just see one race and it's kind of a layoff, and then he shows back up in 2025. Took him a little while to get going. I thought his most recent race, he kind of got shuffled back a little bit and showed some late energy. I'm kind of interested in him, I think, more than the winner coming out of that race, Petingas Twin, who got that perfect trip and won. I think Sunny Breeze could get a pretty nice setup from a class standpoint. We know his ceiling is pretty high. I'm curious what price he ends up, but like 6 to 1 and above in that range, I'm pretty okay with that price.
Absolutely agree with all that stuff. I mean, you're sort of waiting for him to get back to that Gallant Bob, and maybe that race just ultimately took a little bit out of him because it took him a while to get back on track this year. But I'm with you. I think he ran okay last time, a little bit of a step in the right direction, and he's still got room to improve for a really good trainer.
We move to Prince of Jericho. He's a multiple stakes winner, multiple graded stakes place, but he has not raced since February. He's also pretty quick in a race where there's other speed. It is positive that he's drawn towards the outside of a lot of those speeds. And one thing we know, Mike, he loves Laurel Park. All 7 of his career wins have come right here at Laurel Park. So really solid, honest horse, 5-year-old now at the end of his 5-year-old season, but we're talking about a pretty big gap, even for a barn that's very, very good getting horses ready off a long layoff.
Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, absolutely. You do have to worry about that, especially when this horse is the morning line favorite. So you're gonna be asked to take a short price on a horse who hasn't run since the middle of February. So we'll see what we get. I mean, obviously, if he comes back ready to go here off the break and runs his good race, he's going to be really tough because he's another one. He's got speed, but he does not need to be on the lead to be effective.
Dean Delivers rounds out the field. Grade 3 winner, grade 1 place. He had a good start. He was a little bit wide, and then he backed off and he tucked in, and he was just outside of Petingas Twin and just could not go on with Petingas Twin when that one went with it. And I didn't really find many excuses. You could say it was the first start in a few months, but were you able to build a case for this one?
I tried so hard.
I
saw him sitting there at 15 to 1 on the morning line. And I'm like, this is the horse. This is the horse to bet in here because you only have to go back to last summer to find him running races that will beat this field. I mean, he's got a bunch of back races that will beat this field, but he's come back now for 4 starts this year as a 6-year-old. And, you laid out the last one where he just didn't run well. All 3 of his prior races are like that too.
Wow.
He didn't run that well in those races. So you're kind of getting to the point now where you feel like maybe he can't run anymore. Man, if he can still run though, he can beat this field and he's going to be a price.
That's what makes it a tricky race to handicap. A big price on the outside who could absolutely win. Let's move to selections now. Mike, how are you going to stack them up in the Dave's Friend?
I looked at this race way longer than I wanted to, Gino, and I feel like I just kind of chickened out here and took the easy way with Maximus Meridius. So listen, he won't be the favorite, but he'll be one of the favorites in here, but he's just super logical. I put Dean Delivers second because his recent form is just so bad that I couldn't put him on top, but he would be the long shot maybe I could try to take a shot with. To be honest with you, this is a really interesting race. I probably won't bet it. I don't feel like I have a good handle on this race.
Yeah, it's a tough race if you're playing pick 4s and pick 5s and multis because there's a lot of horses you feel like you want to use at fair prices. I'll lean on Sunny Breeze, who I thought had kind of a troubled trip, got shuffled back a little bit. I think could sit a pretty nice trip in here. We know this horse has some class and has one of the higher ceilings in this field, and still lightly raced as a 4-year-old with only those 10 races. So maybe he can get back to that really good effort when behind Ben Tornado. For Mike, it's going to be 6-9-1-7. For me, 7-3-8-6. However you play them, we wish you the best of luck.